So your name is Anthony. How old are you, sir?
I'm 43.
43. Um, I'm a rock with it. When you watch it back, I hope it clears up. Maybe it'll clear up. 43, Fresno, Cali. You have any kids?
I have two kids, a 16-year-old that stays with me, that's going to college soon, and a 10-year-old that stays with his mom. I was married for 14 years, so both of them from the marriage, and we divorced about 5 years ago.
Okay. A 16-year-old, and what's the other child's age?
10-year-old daughter that stays with her mom.
Okay. And they were both from your ex-wife.
Yes.
Okay. What do you do for a living, Anthony?
I'm a utilities director. I'm over a water department, as well as I do a lot of real estate and a few other things, investments that kind of keep me going.
Okay.
That I enjoy.
Okay. All right, let's do it. We got Anthony, Fresno, California, 43. Dad of two kids by his ex-wife. You are a utility director and also real estate and investments, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's do it. What kind of woman are you looking for?
Number one, a woman of character. I think that's extremely important. Somebody that has a really good faith, that likes to have fun. I like to travel. Last weekend I was in Atlanta. I really enjoyed myself. I almost tried to make it to DC when you was there, but I couldn't make it work. I was trying to, but I couldn't.
I appreciate the effort. Okay.
Yeah, and then I go to Bali next month. So just somebody who can balance faith as well as fun. And give me 1 second. I'm gonna shut this fridge.
Okay.
I mean, so far he hasn't said nothing crazy, but you guys will see, because of his standards, once he talks about his standards, the women were calling him gay because they can't measure up.
So you say you're going to Bali next month, so you want someone that can travel.
Yes, passport.
Gotta have,
And I'm completely, yeah, either a passport, but I'm okay with like the Ruth methodology. Like if you don't, just be willing to get a passport.
Okay, willing to get a passport. Okay. Okay. You have any more requirements before we go to your deal breakers?
No, I think mainly character, somebody of faith, somebody that looks at the positive. And the reality is that whenever you're in a relationship, you grow a lot. So somebody that's open, cooperative, I think that's extremely important. I think I have a very strong direction that I'm going. So definitely want somebody that's willing to get on that train and enjoy life and do life together.
Okay. For your Wi-Fi, someone is saying maybe you have the plastic still on. Do you have the plastic part on your phone? It's getting better. Actually, it's starting to get a little better.
Yeah, I got the new MacBook Pro, and I've actually never used it. I just been having it around the house, so I just turned it on. So it might be me. It might be like plastic or something on.
Okay. All right. So the plastic's not on, right?
I don't think so. I hope it's not. That'd be kind of embarrassing.
Okay. All right. Okay, Anthony. So wait, what were your deal breakers again?
Really just somebody who's not honest to me, somebody who's not loyal, somebody that's not cooperative. I really believe in cooperation.
What does cooperation mean?
So he basically wants a submissive woman, because men have learned that women don't like the word submission. So they say, I want a kind woman, a woman who's very cooperative, and a nice woman, no arguments, which really means I want a submissive woman, because women hate the word submissive. They think it means slave.
That's a really good question. I have a really strong plan and I try to be a man of integrity. So I want somebody that can follow that lead, so I believe I'm a really good leader. I got an MBA, so I lead hundreds and hundreds of people. So I think I can lead a household, and want somebody that's willing to jump on and go in the same direction as me. So I think it's pretty basic, not too complex.
Okay, got you. All right. Should she look a certain way?
I like a good face card. Like, that's really important. I like a really beautiful smile. If she got a really beautiful smile, a really cool face card, that's what I'm I really like it. Yeah, I would say that's it.
Should she make a certain amount of money?
No, I have, like I told you, I really believe in the Roots methodology, pretty much meaning, I feel like I'm doing well enough that no matter where she's at, that's not going to change my lifestyle. So I really don't mind. Matter of fact, I just prefer that she be open because I do have a career where I can only work at certain places because I'm, a little high up on the totem pole. So I would need somebody that's flexible and willing to work around my life a little bit. So probably somebody making less may even work better, but I'm open.
Okay, so he makes good money. He's willing to be a provider, the kind of man women usually want, who is willing to pay for everything. Now, I don't know. He has to be careful because they may take advantage of that. But hey, listen, that's what women have been saying they want. Here they have a man who sounds like he makes good money.
Okay. So because you want somebody that can fit within your life.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Let's do the Kendra Cam. You gotta be able to see your legs.
Okay, let me back it up.
Okay. Looks like you're in shape.
Yeah.
Okay. Anthony, Fresno, California, 43. When was your last relationship?
My last relationship was about 6 months ago. I was with her for a little bit over a year.
Okay. You don't have to answer, but I'm gonna ask. When's the last time you was intimate with someone?
Don't answer it.
6 months ago.
Okay.
Okay, good answer, because it's a trick question. If you say you just, you just were clapping cheeks a week ago, they're gonna call you, a womanizer. So it's always best to. I prefer. If it was me, I would never answer. But it's always better to say 6 months or more.
3 flaws you have to work on.
Definitely. Definitely. I can be a little because I've been doing what I do and live a certain way I do, and I believe in discipline. Sometimes I'm working on just being more patient, trying to be more patient with people, because when you do something and you've been doing it for so long, you don't realize everybody don't live that type of lifestyle. Everybody's not used to living that at that level. So I just try to be more patient. That's something I'm working on. And sometimes I can, I can be a little impulsive. I went and did a photo shoot last week, and and I kind of went over budget, and I think that's something that I try not to do too much. And then sometimes I can, be extremely generous, and I think sometimes I'm working on creating healthy boundaries, because just because I got it don't mean I should do it, and that's something I continue to work on and get better at.
Okay, again, he's mentioning the money. He's letting them know, hey, I got the money and sometimes I overspend. This is every woman's dream. Oh, you got the money and sometimes you overspend? Because, women don't mind if you're going to overspend on them. If you're going to spend on them, take them shopping, they don't care. But one thing that stood out for me is the fact that when men come on this show, at least most of the men, they can list out all the flaws they got. But when women come on the show, they struggle to list the flaws they have, but they're very quick to list everything a man should do for them. So that's always very interesting.
Okay, well, you really thought about that. All right, so do you want the woman to be in California, Fresno?
No, I'm pretty open. I don't believe it's very many women, Black women in Fresno. I could be wrong. Because I stay in a suburb, and the area I'm in maybe it's just the area. So that's why I'm open, but definitely somebody willing to travel.
They're telling me to ask you, what was the photo shoot for? I believe in photos. I mean, I do photo shoots all the time, child. So, but they're telling me to ask you, why did you do a photo shoot?
Because I'm not really good on social media and I don't take really good pictures. So it was just kind of like a branding thing for myself. It was therapeutic. Okay. It was, when you go a really tough breakup, the photo shoot was one way that I could reset and kind of like start over.
Yeah. So okay, I see why they were calling him gay, because it's not normal for men to just go around do random photo shoots after a breakup. Because like I told you guys in the comments, the women were calling him gay. Sometimes a well-spoken man. He seems like a confident guy. He got his money. Obviously, I guess the earring, they're calling him gay for that reason.
Yeah. I understand. You don't have to wait to a wedding day or a class reunion to do a photo
Yeah.
shoot. I think that's a misconception for people. Like you can decide you want to do a photo shoot because you want to. You don't need any other reason other than you want to. That's simple. But I got you. All right.
Yeah.
Couple things. What's the age range you want to date?
Uh, uh, 25 to 35.
Okay.
But I'm saying that age range because I do want to have another kid, and I know that those age range really works really well. But I'm open on the upper end, depending on the person and biology and how their face card is. I'm definitely open because it depends on the person.
Okay. Would you date a woman that has kids already?
Yeah, of course. But again, there would be some expectations around that. But as long as those expectations are met, I'm open to it.
Okay. Did I ask you why would a woman be lucky to be with you?
You did not ask me that question.
Okay, that's the last question.
No, I definitely think that I give a little bit of everything. I think leading with character and trying to enjoy life and engaging. And I don't like to use the term high value man, but I know that in a lot of areas I'm top 2 or 3%, and I think that matters to some people.
Oh, okay. That's another reason they called him. See how Kendra is looking? Top 2 or 3%. Yeah. Anytime a man has confidence and speaks highly of himself, women call him gay. They call him sassy. See, as soon as he mentioned that he's a high value man and he's in the top 2 3%. See where Kendra is looking? So I see why women in the comments were calling him gay.
What qualifies you? I personally don't think I don't think high value. Well, first let me ask you this: what do you rate? What are the qualifications that you feel as though make you high value?
I think it's how you conduct yourself. Number one, having discipline, being disciplined in your life, and I think also there's an income component, being able to be a provider. I think that's important. And I say high value to me would be like over 150, 200,000. Being maybe possibly at the lower end of a millionaire would make you a high value, at least in my opinion, because you're able to afford your whatever lifestyle you live. And then about the how you conduct yourself on a day-to-day basis, not getting into some of the things that's I think lower value as far as conduct and things of that nature.
Okay, good answer.
So I don't really believe in that term, but it just seems like that's the term people use.
Right. This isn't directed towards you because obviously you're not the first person that ever thought of that term. But I feel as though that term really got the internet and the dating game messed up because high value makes it doesn't matter. If a person is not showing up for you, no matter how much money they have in the bank, they actually have no value.
No, they do have value. To the market, they do have value. If we're going to be honest, you see Elon Musk, he had like 12 baby mamas, 12 kids, but he's the richest person in the world. He has more value than I do. So you may think, oh, he sleeps around, he has so many kids, he's not high value. The market decides he's high value. That's why the market rewards him with all the money. That's it. We can't put our feelings into it. You could say person of good character, whatever it is, but on the surface, from the world point of view, a person of high value is what the market says. And the market usually rewards him with lots of resources. It is what it is. That's my opinion.
You can know a person that has $500,000, and let's say you're dating a man that has $500,000, but then there's a man that makes $60K. But that's the man that's really showing up at your door and really being there for you in the time of need. That man has more value than the $500K man.
Yeah, that man who makes $60K would have more value if more women wanted him. Okay, but unfortunately, more women want the guy who makes $500,000, so he has more value. We don't care if the guy who makes $60K goes to church every single day, if he can read the Bible from the beginning to the bottom, in 2 seconds. We don't care. The women decide that, hey, listen, yeah, you're good, you don't curse, but guess what? I want this guy who makes $500,000. He's high value. Like I said, the market decides.
I hate that we got to this realm that because of the dollar amount a person makes, they're considered high value. It's really bullshit. It's like
No,
the
it's
person
not.
who showed up for you. Why does it matter what they have in the bank account?
Ask the women. They come on your show every day asking for men making lots of money. So ask them. They decide the market. They are the market.
I 100% agree. And Kendra, between me and you, I actually am not an advocate of the term in the sense that it's a lot of people I know that make under that threshold that I consider them high value because of their character, because of how they conduct themselves. And sometimes when I talk to young ladies and they show a willingness to leave their man for me, and it's only because of what they make, it turns me off because that's not cool. Like, I think that's, to me, that shows disloyalty. And I feel like if somebody shows up in so many different areas, it's more important than money. And I don't believe in leading with money. But at the same time, the reality is that people do live a certain level of lifestyle. And I do want whoever I'm with, if they live that way, for them to know that I believe I can, to an extent, help support that lifestyle and continue it and not downgrade.
I understand. That's why I said that wasn't really a comment directed towards you, because it's just a term that everyone used. I stand on this high value man that a lot of women speak of. And honestly, women, I'm going to put us in this category because it's been so loud, vocal, that a man has to make a certain amount of money.
Yes.
It has made the man in that tax bracket feel like, well, I got it all. You know?
Thank you, Kendra. You're coming around to what I was saying. The women decided that they only want men who make that kind of money. So guess what? Those guys have value. Why? Because the market wants them. The market is the women. Okay? Once the women decide that the guy who makes $50,000 a year is the man they want, and other women decide that they don't want to mess with guys who make $500,000, $200,000, then only then will the guy who makes $50,000 become high value in their eyes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, say it with your chest. The men that make a certain tax bracket, I think you're an attractive guy that have certain components, we made them into superheroes because so many women are saying these are the qualifications just to be considered. And it's really where everything went wrong, because the truth of the matter, I really don't think a lot of women have dated men in a certain tax bracket, because if you did, you would know, regardless of how much money he has in the bank, it does not equate to high value.
Women don't care.
I've learned from hosting the show, experience is the best teacher. And people just have to experience things for themselves to learn the truth. But I don't want to go off tangent.
The only thing I want to say, Kendra, is that I personally, and I want to play devil's advocate. That's a very important thing to do sometimes. I think that it's extremely important. It's a lot of women that can entertain people that's high value in their character, but they can't sustain it because of issues that they have or past traumas. So I just think that it's important, if that's something you want, to make sure that you work on yourself. So if you do happen to find somebody like that, you can sustain it long term versus just a year or a year and a half. I think that that's extremely important as well.
I agree with him, because usually the guy who makes less money is willing to tolerate more than the guy who makes lots of money. And the reason being, the guy who makes lots of money will walk away. Like, I got other women who want me. So if you don't want to listen to me, woman, I'm going to move on. But the guy who makes less money, he's going to stay around, stick around, listen to her, the disrespect. So I agree. As they want these guys who make lots of money, they have to realize those guys easily move on. So they have to come correct.
But why would you say the woman can't maintain it? How you know that he couldn't do what he needed to do to keep her?
Because most times they say they want this kind of men. They scream on your show how they want the guy who make lots of money. But those guys come with their own standards and they don't measure up.
I'm going to be on the man side. I'm sorry. I'm just going to speak from the man perspective. I don't want to be like. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Did you initiate the divorce?
I did not. But in the sense that I did say, hey, this is my limit. You met my limit and it's time for us to move on. But she actually initiated it. I felt, a lot of guilt and things of that nature, but she did initiate it, but I was the one that made the decision.
Would you have initiated it if she didn't?
That's a tough decision because I'm a ride or die person. So I really wanted it and I kept making it clear I wanted it. But I don't know if I would have actually did it just because I sometimes I can suffer. I try to suffer through some stuff. But I did make it through.
Okay. So you kind of proved the point I was about to make. There's a lot of men that's always like kind of what you just said. A woman has to do what she has to do to keep a certain man. But really, the reality is the man has to keep the woman because your wife decided to leave. I mean, you had a requirement, and instead of rising to the requirement that you said she needed to do in order to keep you, she left. So I don't think it's fair to say women need. I think what's happening is this. First of all, both people got to keep each other, right?
I agree.
Like, let's stop this balance of you better not. It's like you better not do anything to rock the boat. It's not about the woman trying to keep the man or the man trying to keep the woman. Two people have to want a relationship to work. And two people have to make sacrifices at time and show up for each other. What happens, this is why I don't like the high value thing, because you believe a woman better do what she can to keep a man like me. And I think men are not hearing women when they say, baby, I'm okay with or without you. I think we're in a time where men hate happy, successful women because they're proving that a woman could thrive without a man. And would you like a man? Of course, maybe some, but not under the conditions that are being presented.
Yeah, you can survive without a man as long as you don't turn around and say, but if a man is going to be with me, he got to come pay my bills. Okay, if you really can survive without a man, especially without what a man can provide, then pick a normal average guy who's not going to pay your bills. But even the rich, successful women still want men who are going to come in and pay their bills and be on their level. I want a man who's on my level. So it's not that men can't handle women who are successful and things like that. It's the fact that whether a woman has money or she doesn't, all of them want a man who has the money. So guess what? The guys who have the money are going to be cocky. It comes with the territory. Until women start to choose men who don't have money and take care of those men, then and only then will the guys who have money, the rich guys, stop being cocky. Other than that, anytime a woman deals with a guy who has money, whether she got money or not, you're going to have to get into the guy's program. I'm sorry. That's how our story is going to be.